Chabad. Please join us. Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Shoftim. The question of the week is, how can we live a life of Torah and Mitzvot out of love for Hashem? So in this week's Torah portion, Parsha Shoftim, the Torah portion is called Shoftim. But if you read right in the beginning of the Torah portion, it says Shoftim, which means judges, V'shoitrim, and officers you should put in all your cities. The Rebbe asks a simple question. The verse begins, Shoftim V'shoitrim, judges and officers. And Vi means and, so it's like together. So the question is, why doesn't the Torah portion called Shoftim V'shoitrim? Why is it only called Shoftim? So the Rebbe explains, because what's the job of a shofet? The job of a shofet is to give out rulings, to teach, to guide the way of Hashem. What's the job of a shoiter? The job of a shoiter, an officer, is that just in case you're not following what the shofet has to tell you, so he has to come in and enforce it. So a shofet, a teacher, a judge, we need that. We always need that to guide us. A shoiter, an officer, someone to make sure we're doing the right thing, we don't always need that if we're not paying attention, if we're not doing what we're supposed to. So then we have to bring in a shoiter. So a shoiter is sometimes needed, sometimes not. A shofet is always needed, and therefore the Torah says Shoftim as the name of the Torah portion. So the question is, that's great, but how do we make sure in our lives that we only need the shofet, that we don't have to come on to the shoiter? So the Torah continues and says, where should you put the shofet? Where should you put the judge, the teacher, the ruler? B'chol sharecha, in all your cities. Now we know there's the physical cities and there's the spiritual cities. What is the city of a human being? Who we are. Now, in who we are, we have gates. Sharecha means gates. We have gates. What are the gates that we have? So we know we have 7 gates. We have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and the mouth. That's what allows us access to and from the outside world. So the Rebbe explains, what does a shofet mean? Someone that teaches, someone that brings in the intellect of the godly soul and makes sure that that is felt in a real way in all your access points that are open to the world. That means the light of the godly soul should be felt in your eyes, in your ears, in your nostrils, in your mouth, and therefore every engagement in the world will only be based on the life of the shoiter, the shofet has in mind for you to live a godly life. Then you won't have to come on to a shoiter. So to answer the question, how can we live a life of Torah Mitzvot out of love for Hashem, is when we place the godly soul's mission and vision that's connected to our eyes, to our ears, to our nostrils, to our mouth. Then we'll learn to do the Torah Mitzvot out of love for Hashem. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we're studying in their memory. For more information, please see our website, chabadswf.org. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson.